Great sunrise, people of the life, light in the dark. I hope all is well out there with you and the family and all, and that you're keeping safe in these turbulent times. I just want to get into some hardcore truth today, something I've been pondering on and going back and forth with my soul on my God self, my God self. And this is about what Nubian men don't know about money that Black women, that Nubian women do know. Number one thing about money is it is utilized. It's always been utilized as a form of control. Only for a form of control. And a lot of our highly educated men that make the six figures that Kevin Samuels was talking about, many don't know this. Many are in this Disney illusion that the world is all is well in the world. That all is well in this world. Although we do know about this little thing called racism. And we think that that's a problem that we can nip in the bud. We just say there's some nice white folks, and we just say that, we're all the same, we're all equal. And we just, that we make that our reality. And we just go along. And then when our women are acting a certain way, we say that they're wayward women. And because they're wayward women, we don't want them. So we throw them wayward, further wayward. And take on more easygoing females that that Nubian men perceive as somehow better than themselves. And in that process, in the whole process of living life, men forget Nubian man, the Nubian man, Nubian king, he forgets about himself. He forgets totally his nature. He has forgotten that. Who he is, his nature, because something else, because he has accepted something new as his reality and doesn't even recognize it because it's been cloth in this deceptive illusion of grandeur, of something called quote unquote normalcy. So in living what they call your life, you look around you and you have accepted the new normal. You have been okay with the subjugated. And you look at your woman who is most like you, who is not in agreement with that subjugation. Because you see her in the office on a daily basis, and she would have the reputation of being the one who is considered to be attitude, um, disrespectful to the plantation owner at times, because she has something deep within herself that refuses to be controlled. Where the Black man, he's okay with being controlled. So I would say number one would be the control mechanism of money. And number two would be that money is the illusion that the man allows himself to be subjugated to. And he allowed himself to be deceived in many ways. See, and I'm going to hit on number three. I'm going to hit on number three. There's many reasons. There's many. Number three is the lie that it takes brains to get money. I talked about this a long time ago, like 6 years ago. I can't even, but let's hit on the three again. Control, illusion of money. And number three, that you have to be intelligent to have money. I didn't talk about it in this way. I talked about money just blatant out being an illusion. But I think I'm putting two things together that I separated at that time, was the relationship between the Black man and Black woman and money. I never really put that together until YouTube, you guys out there making YouTube videos, brought it to my attention. And I was like, hey, voila, apples and oranges. Yeah, we're different. Men are different from women. I believe in the Venus and the Mars thing, but I don't think it's anything wrong with that. See, that's our strength, but we don't know it. That's our magic, that's our power, that's our energy. That's why, Black man can always have a pocket full of money if he wanted to. That's why Nubian man can always, if once he knows himself. Nubian woman too, as well. But put us together, we're an unstoppable force. Like he says, I'm a movement by myself, but I'm a force when we're together. I'm doing good all by myself, but baby, you make me better. See? When we get that the Black woman is not going to be subjugated by nobody. Nobody. And rightfully so. On the other hand, our men, I've worked in the workforce. This is my experiences. Every time I complain, or I always have to talk to someone, right? And it'd be a man, a black man, and it was nothing that he could do for my situation, you know, nothing. But he was subjugated. He didn't want to say anything because he was subjugated more than likely. They see wrong been done in the workforce, but don't say anything. I know a lot of people can attest to that, you know. So, what do you do about that? When the Nubian woman is very outspoken to what she wants and what she doesn't like. The number one thing is ill treatment in the workforce. And many times, the man you go to and talk to, he doesn't have to be Nubian. They'll dismiss it, or they'll say, um, what are some things that used to get told to me? Like, kind of just you got to deal with it. Or I don't know. It's different for women than it is for men. And how do you communicate? Maybe some of us don't know how to communicate, because any way you communicate with the male supervisor, he's going to take it as you being some way out of order. You know what I'm saying? So the black woman is not easily subjugated, but her counterpart is more than likely he's more easily subjugated in the workforce. So he's more than likely capable to climb up the ladder. So the issue is not seeing that money is used as a mechanism of control. And most men don't see it that way. But it has controlled our men, our Nubian kings out here, all the way up to the ladder that they climb and where they're at, to the point that they can't even do anything for their communities. They don't even want to do too much for their communities because they don't want to pick wives from their community. So when you're like that, when your mental state is like this, then you're not growing anything. You're not developing anything. But when the woman ends up without any resources, which is designed to be that way, she is looked down upon instead of looked up upon, because we have this thing called women's lib that had nothing to do with the Nubian queens out here, but somehow she was dragged into something that had nothing to do with her, because she's always worked alongside her man, always been subjugated, still is subjugated, but refuses it, fights against it in this society. But yet she gets accused or said that she's highest in interracial relationships, which is not true. Because if that was the case, then there wouldn't be no too many baby mamas in the in communities, and there wouldn't be the situations we see. See, so interracial relationships are not priority on the Nubian queen's mind, although it's being pressured that way through the dynamics of the subjugation of her king, the Nubian king, male king. He's controlled by the money, even though the money is an illusion. It's an illusion because it's a lie. It's a lie because money here is not backed by nothing. Some oil, perhaps, but for the most part, the money that we utilize is not. We don't have resources. Too many resources here. Hey, Mr. Pirate Brain. Mr. Pirate Brain says we need to make 6 figures because our Nubian women want 6 figures. So we have to earn this to have good Nubian women. This is what we hear our women say. Yeah. How can I say it? They didn't dangled, okay? They didn't dangled 6-figure Nubian kings over the heads of Nubian queens. So the Nubian kings that don't have the 6 figures, the thing about it, we got to recognize that we've been lied to, not just the Black man, because the Black man, I was raised by a Black man, and let me see. He, I don't think he really ever pushed. My parents, they were different from me. They never really pushed for me to. I had the drive, so I don't even really remember them having to push for me to go to college or do anything, because I always knew myself in my mind what I wanted to do. So I always thought that going to school, he did it bestow in me that, you know, my mom did bestow in me savings and stuff like that. So she did think that this money was a possibility for me to, uh, if I, not really independence, but I guess he did in a way kind of gear me towards independence. I have to recollect. This has just been so long ago. And then me, I had my own world. So I always strived for what I wanted, but I never put money first. I said, that's why I'm like I am now. I never put money first, even though money is an important tool, but it's a mechanism used against me and this against us in this society as Nubian kings and queens. It's used against us. So we got to know that, number one. So I always saw the world When I go into a career, I want to love what I do. I want to enjoy what I do first. I don't want money to be a thing. That was my dream, to find something I love doing so dearly and do it. And I have gotten the tools and the skills I need to do what I love to do. And I'm happy. I've been doing good, Parrot Brain, doing good. Let me see. Thank you, DOD. Welcome. Welcome, Out of League. And Paul Graves, welcome. Welcome, everyone. But yeah, like I said, it's money. We should never put money first, especially this fake fiat money. Like I said, we should focus on what we love to do. I always talk about that, about our souls, about what natural abilities that we have to bring forward, to build. That's number one. That's part of vibrating with the planets. Is But when we're taken out of our nature through certain things, and money is one of them. Okay. Because it has to control us in our relationship with each other. See, the woman is over here refusing to go along to get along. And the Nubian king, he just wants to be at peace and wants everything, But that's why I recognize that he's the broad, broad, he's the body, he's the physical, and she is the brain. She is the brain. That's why she refuses to be subjugated. And he has the muscles and he has the strength and body. She has the muscle and strength and mind. Working together, they don't need this. They don't need the enemy that's dividing them and controlling them. Because as far as I'm concerned, pale people are the gatekeepers to the money. And they know it. And we don't. So it doesn't take brains. We know this. If it took brains, then they couldn't be gatekeepers to the money. It does not take brains to get money. That's number 3. That's the last thing. Because they made us think we have to go and spend money in school, given to these colleges, AKA, I don't know who behind the colleges get that money. Because it's a lot of money. But I guess, a little bit of it goes to the schools to keep it up and stuff for maintenance. But I'm sure, being a Caucasian society, that, like I said, this is a Caucasian run society that we're in, planet basically. And who knows how everything is allocated? You know what I'm saying? Who knows? Paul Graves says, I have more than a good woman. I have an excellent one inside and out. She required that I provide and protect, to be loyal. Having a good character and morals have how much I was make was never her prerequisite. Exactly, Paul Graves. You're so right. How much a man makes should never not, for us as Nubian kings and queens, I agree. It should not be a priority. Love your having a man to provide and protect you should be the priority. If he's not providing and protecting, then yeah, you might want to consider that's not a good idea for you. Do not, whatever you do, don't have children, because I fear for some children out here who don't have anyone out here for them to protect them, give them a warm, comfortable place to stay. I really do, and it's nothing that I can do. My hands are cut off at that point. I feel like that. Um, and that's a big problem. That's a huge problem. So what do we do? You know, that's the question. What do? We try to fight. We fight for our people because we know that they're out there like that. We know we got children out there like that. So we fight for our people. Without children, we perish, you're right. But we got to make sure that all Nubian children have a safe, comfortable place. But because, like I said, money is used as a tool to control, to destroy, and it has destroyed us. Because a lot of our Nubian men don't get it. You can make the six figures, but they're not going to let you help in any kind of way. They're going to dangle superficial looks in front of you. You don't want the average. You think Black women are average nowadays. So they don't want an average, which I think is code word for negroid exotic looks. That's what average means for a Nubian king with six figures. It means a negroid exotic looking woman who does not look like, what's that woman in Wonder Woman that played Wonder Woman? I'll get her name. Um, what's her name? I can't get her name. No, not that one. Let me see. I can't find her. Did somebody get her name? The old Wonder Woman. And you got to realize They wouldn't call that average for a reason. And it's all part of a plan. That it's the illusion. See, we don't have over here, there's no viable resources for them to really be backing the dollar up with. But in Africa, they do have real resources that is worthy. There's more worthy. Yeah, I agree, Mr. Power Brain. Everything you look at should be beautiful to you because you are the holder of beauty. Yeah, Linda Carter. Yeah. See, they want a Linda Carter. These six-figure men want Linda Carters. And I'm like, let them go. Because they're already subjugated. There's nothing they can do because they look down upon their own. And many times, unfortunately, I have a six-figure in my family. Okay. I'm not gonna I don't think it's good for me to really talk about it. I mean, I have a greater than a six-figure, I think, in my family. But I'm not gonna talk about it. But the the whole thing is you're gonna see them with something that does not look like a Nubian queen, like this Nubian queen right here. Because you know what? If you see them with a Nubian queen like this, he's not going to be, he's usually got a mistress, okay? But you're not going to see him with a Nubian queen like this for long. You're going to see him eventually change for that mistress because that is more acceptable, and that's the way they value more closely to whiteness. And that's what's happening to what's his name right now. He's learning his lesson the hard way. She wants all his money. Let me see if I can pull him up, family. Let me see if I can pull this dude up. Dr. Dre. I used to like Dr. Dre. I didn't like Jay-Z. I liked Dr. Dre better than I liked Jay-Z back in the day. I used to like Dr. Dre better than Jay-Z. I couldn't stand Jay-Z. I didn't know Dr. Dre had a daughter. I didn't know Dr. Dre had a daughter. But Dr. Dre, he didn't take care of his Nubian queen daughter for 20 years while he was married to um, this non-Nubian looking woman. And now she's taking him for every penny. You know, the sense for these six-digit men would be to take care of their community. But they can't do that because they're subjugated and controlled. But the mind should tell you to take care of your own. Not just doing like little favors here and favors there, but I mean, go to the community, build up the community, buy back the community. But there is this thing called the past. And what did we learn about in the past? What they do to the business owners and the wealthy men in the past, they hung them. The Nubian men. So we do know that that did happen. And they were the most of them were Republic Party. Because we were the Republic Party. And they took them all out and they hung them and killed them. Right? Okay. So DOD said Bia is the Black Wonder Woman. Okay. Oh yeah, I loved Dr. Dre back in the day. I Back in the day, I could not stand Jay-Z. I just couldn't get into Jay-Z. I was like, why did you do it to me? Get rid of him. That's how I was. Like, I can't. And he didn't even have the looks. I was like, oh my God. But that was back in the day. Now he didn't change my ideas. He didn't change, he didn't, he didn't did a number on my mind, you know. So, but still, I really don't care for him today. I mean, I think he's good. And now that it's did a flip flop on me as far as, I don't care for Dr. Dre now. Yeah, Nick Cannon. Oh yeah, he's gone. I kind of knew. I kind of always knew that Nick was gone. I knew that Nick was gone when he married Mariah. I had a friend that was married to he's married to a high profile man's Frank Sinatra's niece, right? And James, my buddy James. James, if you're out there, I miss you. We used to talk all the time. But he married Frank Sinatra's niece, and they were walking down the street in New York City. They saw Mariah Carey kind of turned her nose up at them. So yeah, he's always been like that. When you see him with Mariah, know that he was gone. When you saw him with Mariah Carey, he was gone. Yeah, he was already gone. So I knew we lost Nick a long time ago. There was nothing. I really didn't care. I really couldn't. You know, Nick was gone. Y'all should have known that. I mean, it didn't help change my mind when he was on the whatchamacallit either. Because I already knew, he just that he wants to be that Caucasian male, and he's finally he's becoming, okay? He's becoming. So if every superstar person moved to Africa, the US would fall. Yes. Yes, if every superstar Nubian person moved, this would be a third world country. This would be a certifiable third world country. And they would live like kings and queens. Yes, they would, because they would have huge homes, they're very tall people. Our basketball players are very tall people. They're giants. So basically, they would have huge homes over there. So the giants would be back. The giant people would be back. Yes. If every Black person moved to Africa, America would fall faster than that. Yes, it would. It would. And we we would have big houses, but it wouldn't be big as the ball players because they're just real tall. They're like some 6'9", 7'2", right? Am I wrong? Am I right? Am I wrong or am I right? They eating good and they getting that good air. They're eating good and they're getting that good air. To be that tall. But yeah, if we all left here, shoot, There's big homes over there, I'm telling you guys. Bigger than what I thought. And nice. Man, nice. We don't know. Over here, we allow people to put things in our minds about places. But we can have that here too. Because this land belongs to us anyways. It's all coming back. I'm sorry, but we're all getting it back. And that's one thing we don't know. We don't know that everything is an illusion. It's an illusion what's going on now in front of our faces with the election. That's why I said don't get involved. It's not going to do us no good, because one thing that's been revealed about the elections is what we always knew, Black people, Nubian people, what we always knew our vote never counted. Because what did they do? When they cheated Trump, when they did fraud this time on Trump, they revealed what they did with our votes. They revealed how they cheated our votes, how they controlled our votes. All was revealed. There's a lot being revealed. I just hope that you're in the rightful mind to see it. It's 2020 vision right now. I'm not just saying this just to be saying it. I see it. And I want people to see it. I don't like our people being in the dark or not knowing things. I like our people to know. I like for us to know. We're knowing people. We've always been knowing people. That's our nature. We definitely need to meditate. Meditation helps. They need our vote for compliance. Yes. For comply. You got it, Mr. Pirate Brain. You got it. Yeah, DOD. There was fraud committed. And what has been revealed also, DOD, is that they have always done this to our votes. How they've made our votes sway. They've always controlled us. They've always controlled us. Like right now, we shouldn't be involved in any of this. We shouldn't have had people working at the polling polls. We shouldn't have had Black people working there. Now they can control they can control the narrative how they want to spend it. They can say that we were part of the fraud. Yes, White Zaddy, your White Zaddy didn't go nowhere. You think Trump is the White Zaddy? You think Biden is your White Zaddy? No. Your White Zaddy is behind it all. He has not gone nowhere. I don't know his name, but he has not gone nowhere. He's still pulling the strings of the trick bag, trying to close it up. So that's what I want destroyed. I'm tired of it. I know we're all tired of it. It's an illusion put in in our faces. For what? To trick us, to keep us losing who we are, to keep us disconnected from our truth, so that we can't rise and get what's ours. Quite naturally, it's going to happen. Like I said, we have to realize that what they're saying is an illusion is not an illusion. What they're saying is reality is the illusion. If they tell you one thing, you do the opposite. And then now they're trying to play on that. Newsmax. I told you guys about Newsmax. Newsmax is only good for a certain thing. Once they start talking about Nazis and all this other stuff and Jews, it blew my mind. I was like, yeah, this is another Jewish backed organization. And they got me. But the whole thing is they give me the truth and they giving me lies. So I know that they're not no good. Telling me about Jews. I don't want to hear about Jews suffering. The same stuff I seen on my mom's TV programming. And my mom made me so mad watching that stuff. I wanted to leave the house, but I mean, she is always watching that Christian Jewish. It's mental programming your mind. Well, let me tell you, I said white zaddy, your white zaddy, y'all's white zaddy ain't gone nowhere. He's still in the back pulling the strings of the presidents. Right now, I guess you got two presidents. But the whole thing is he can't decide. The real white zaddy can't decide what he's gonna do because he's in a stalemate. He don't know what to do. I guess checkmate. That's all he can do. I don't know. And the coronavirus thing is backfiring because I always said that anything they try to do to us is always going to backfire. It's too much variables. Nature, you don't know what nature's going to do. You can't predict. You can't control it. You can't control nature. They think they can control nature. But the reality of it is, what is nature? What is real for them? What is true for them? Do they know what is real and true? Are they delusional people making an illusional world so we can be delusional people? You know? Yeah, Grandmaster Jay of Impact. Y'all don't know that there was probably an agent out there. And what's the first thing they told us? They call us black because the information they can't control you talking, right? So if they shoot me today, you know why, right? So they can't do that either. So just for thinking, just for being critical thinkers and knowing how to think without being told what to think or how to think, because they want to control your thinking. No, white zaddy is yeah, y'all need to stop thinking that these presidents have some kind of power. They don't. If they had the power, then why do you think they playing checkers and chess and all kinds? They're not playing my game spades now. I'll beat them at spades, but they're playing chess and checkers, right? They're gonna pull Biden out and want to put in the queen, right? Then so they got the Trump right there in the spot, right? Can he move? Okay. Oh, he's saying this. Okay. Trump lost because more people disliked him than those who liked him. Otherwise, he would have won electoral votes, has the final say. No, actually, more people liked him, but the people that disliked him had to cheat. But either way, the people that dislike him dislike you and me too. And they're glad that there are people amongst us that dislike him because signing off to our own we're signing off for them to come and do whatever the hell they want to us because we're agreeing with them either way. You don't have to agree with Trump and you don't have to agree with Biden. But you agreeing with the system, you agreeing with them anyways. Just don't get the vaccine shots. Just don't get the vaccine shots because then you're signing off on your own death sentence. And you're telling them they don't have to take care of your family. They don't have to if you die or if you suffer from the shots. You see? Hey, Mr. Research. How are you doing? Hey, I'll share the link because I know DOD has something to say. Or anybody else have anything to say, you can come up and say it. But yeah. Please feel free to join in. But like I was saying, in fact, he was a trick bag. He was part of the tricks in the bag, okay? Let's say it like that. He was one of the tricks in the bag. Black extremists. That's what they were calling us. They were calling us black extremists because we were on Facebook throwing out core truths. And when you're on Facebook throwing out core truths, that is going to interrupt and disrupt society. That makes them have to work harder. And that's what this is all about. They're putting forth that work. They're giving us that smoke. Do y'all see it? They're giving us that smoke because we're telling all the core truths. And when you're telling the core truths and we're trying to figure things out for ourselves out here, they're bringing that smoke.
But y'all don't want that smoke.
They brought that smoke.
But y'all don't want that smoke.
Huh?
I said y'all don't want that smoke.
They already brought the smoke. It's here.
Yeah, but y'all don't want that smoke.
Coronavirus, fucked up elections. What else? Oh, the coronavirus was the biggest one. We got that.
White Zadie got cheated.
Everybody walking.
White Zadie got cheated.
He's come back. No, I said the real White Zadie. You think it's Trump and you think it's Biden.
I don't think it's Trump. I said all the black people, all the black people who said Trump lost love they White Zadie. They love Trump. They're running around YouTube right now crying about Trump losing. Go check out Angry Man. That motherfucker in his car crying every day. He loves his White Zadie.
He don't have to cry because he shouldn't cry for White Zadie. He should be crying for his people. Because
but he's not. That's my point.
The whole thing about us.
That's my point. He's too busy crying for White Zadie.
He shouldn't be. He's just in a low information place. Somebody gave him some low information. He needs to be up here. He needs to be over with the high information. He's with some low information. He just
But
like,
let me ask you this. Let me ask you this then, like Barry. Did
mhm.
did White Zadie did White Zadie get cheated?
I know this. They did do
No. Answer the question.
no, I said they did do fraud. They did do
No. Did White Zadie get cheated?
yeah, they did do fraud.
Okay,
They
so the
did
White.
fraud.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. That's my point.
But the whole
He's
thing
in the same. He's in the
you missed
same
it.
frequency level that you are. Then.
No, he's not in the same frequency level I am in.
Yeah, you
No,
both believe White Zadie got cheated.
no, he didn't get cheated because he won already.
Wait a minute. Did he get cheated or not?
He won.
Who did?
Don't get all concerned with what
Wait a minute. Who
you're
won?
in the
Who
low
won? You
information.
said Trump won.
Yeah, Trump won. You're in the low
Huh?
information.
Okay, see. So then what's the difference between you and Angry Man? He's saying the same thing
I
you said.
said you're in the low information.
Oh,
Angry
I'm in the low
Man,
information.
yeah, you both are in low information. Because he doesn't
I'm in the low information.
who doesn't know that Trump won and you think Trump didn't win. So y'all both in the low information.
So wait a minute. Wait.
He's not nowhere.
Maybe we're talking about two different things here.
No,
The election itself.
you're in
Who won the election?
you're in a different reality than me. You don't
That's very
you
true.
haven't came up to level 5 yet. You're still in level
No, you're right. I'm not at level 5 yet.
you're in level 3, so I don't know what to
No, I'm above level 5. There's higher levels than
no,
level 5.
you're not there yet.
Oh yeah, I've been
You're not
there.
there yet.
I've been there.
Graves say not getting the COVID vaccine is not happening with me. Haven't even had a flu shot in my life, but yet I am healthy year after. Yes, Paul Graves, don't
Exactly,
ever
Paul.
get the flu shot because I got the flu shot and I used to get sick.
Yep.
Every
Don't get the flu shot, and you better not get that COVID either.
every time I get the flu shot, DOD, I got sick.
I
It was
believe you.
like them giving me the flu, and I had to
That's
do
what it
it because I
is.
was in the Navy. If now, then after
Like Bird, that's what the flu shot is.
yeah, but then after a while, catch this, peep this, y'all. After a while, I started getting sick. I got sick, and they whenever flu season came, I got sick, and they would be like, "Oh, it's too late to take the flu shot now. You can't take the flu shot." So that's when I stopped. I was able to stop taking the flu shot because it was like I was kept getting sick, and I would get real nasty sick.
I've never taken it.
And some of y'all lucky. Some of y'all, you see, not having. I think the best thing for us Nubian people is not to have insurance. But my husband begged to differ. But he's African, so of course that's a different perspective, and that's a story for other days. But not having insurance, we need to have another avenue of health, and that's eating good. Is that you or me, DLD?
That's you.
Good evening and welcome. I'm Russ Spencer, evening anchor for Fox 5 in Atlanta, and you are watching the Atlanta Press Club Loudermilk Young debate series. We are broadcasting from the studio of Georgia Public Broadcasting in Atlanta, and we welcome viewers from across the state and the country. This is the runoff debate for U.S. Senate to fill the seat currently held by Georgia Senator Kelly Loeffler. And let's meet the candidates now. They are, in alphabetical order, Republican candidate Kelly Loeffler. She was appointed to the U.S. Senate in January.
I just muted my mic, so that's you.
Replaced retiring Georgia Senator Johnny Isakson. She is also part owner of Atlanta's WNBA team, the Atlanta Dream. Democrat candidate Raphael Warnock is the senior pastor at Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta. Ebenezer, of course, the church where Martin Luther King.
Cut off some of this. Oh, okay. I must have cut it off there. Okay, I got it. Sorry about that.
Right. No problem.
Yeah, I don't get the vaccine shots either. I think everybody already knows about that. Everybody in our communities pretty much, understands that.
Yeah, but a lot of people that love White Zadie is gonna get that COVID vaccine shot.
Yeah,
they love White Zadie.
There's going to be well, no, not the people that love White Zadie. Trump
Oh
supporters,
yeah.
they're gonna know. No, they know not to take
No,
that
no,
shot.
no, 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 Liberia. No, no, no. That's not what I'm saying. You said you're on level 5. And
Right.
being on level 5, you said that Trump is not white zaddy. So
No,
when I say, so when I right,
that
so when I say white zaddy, I said black people. Some black people love white zaddy. I don't mean Trump in this instance.
okay. You mean just the white man, period, that's
I
behind.
mean the government, right,
Yeah.
right.
So yeah, I agree with that. Some people are gonna be listening to that low information that's coming out from CNN and all these other places, news, and they're gonna tell them that you need to go out here and get your shot. You don't have to worry about it. Get it before the rich people get it. Because but the whole thing I feel about it is this is how I feel about it. I don't want anything from the Caucasian but my wealth, which is I want land. You can give me land. You don't have to come to me, give me vaccine. You know what I'm saying? I don't want you killing me off. I want my wealth back. You know, they want to kill me off and take my wealth. See, because it's undeniable that the land belongs to us. You know, undeniable. They already felt that the original. Let me go to this video, guys. I'm gonna go to this video. I'm gonna
Well,
share this.
before you do that, like, did you see my video that I put out about black people getting their land back?
No, I didn't get to see that.
You need to check it out.
Okay. But also, let me share this with you guys real quick.
Cory Booker, a black senator, put out a bill for black farmers to get their land back that was stolen from them.
But it's more than farmers, it's us. But I'm gonna
It's
get into
land. I'm talking about the land.
yeah, but it's more than just black farmers who own
I'm
who
not saying, listen to what I'm saying. I said the land. You can do whatever you want with it. It's the land that was stolen from us.
right.
You don't have to put a farm on it if you don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying the land itself. Level 5.
Here we go. Hold on. Where is it at? Okay, I'm gonna start here. Oh, I'm gonna start here. Okay, I'm gonna start here. Okay. Let me share this. This is Brother Alim El Bay that I follow. And he's talking some good stuff here. He's always talking good stuff.
Australia and Malaysia.
Okay, here we go.
This is another one. This is according to the United States Geological Survey. This was an excavation team led by Virginia Stein McIntyre in 1989. I think that's 89. Human habitation was found existing in Mexico for at least 250,000 to 350,000 years. Now, we just finished seeing that Nevins went back to 2.5 million years. So McIntyre, she takes off a 0 from 2.5 million years to 3.5 million years based on human artifacts and stone tools tested at the site of Haywood, Oteco States or site near the city of Pablo. Shortly after dating of the site was made public, the head of the Mexican Archaeological Department of the Mexican government became very
talk about.
So this is why the Empress claims what she claims.
Okay.
Well, the Grand Canyon is the Nile.
He's talking about the Empress.
Right. Okay. And
diplomat in 1972, Farida Ishkovik. They all are saying that we were there, that this was real.
So El Lemurian is a misnomer.
Right, I just say it's a misnomer because Lemurian, they say it comes from the word lemur, which is a monkey, and they try to say that that the Twa people came from the monkey. That's not true.
Oh, okay, so that's why you did it. That
Yes.
was El Lemurian.
Exactly.
Put the God on it before game over. Okay,
Exactly. Prior to the cataclysms of 1500 BC, the civilization of our ancestors, which flourished in from the Americas to Egypt, was known as Atlantis or the Atlantean Empire. Right? So when we talk about the Lemurian Empire, the Atlantean Empire, the Moorish Empire, the Ottoman Empire, the Tartarian Empire, the Holy Roman Empire, all of these various empires are nothing more than extensions of Nubian or melanated people. All right?
It's always because they conquered, they try to switch it up.
Right.
Okay.
And Brother Hakeem Bey says this right here, that this disrupted Atlantean Empire was later united under the Moorish Empire, which at various times and to varying degrees covered almost the same extent of the territory. At the height of the Moorish Empire, there was Moorish dominions in West Africa, North Africa, the Mediterranean, all right, Spain, Portugal, southern France, England, Ireland, Scotland, the Americas from Alaska to Peru. There were also Moorish dominions and rulers in India, Asia, and the Pacific. So if you notice, we ruled the whole damn globe, all right, at one time. So this is how they come in. And here it is from www.move-atlantis.com, which is no longer there. Brother Hakeem took his website down, but we got the information before he did. And some report that it was a flood. Noah, the Bible, some as earthquakes, Atlantis, others as volcanic. All of these were all various local descriptions of a series of worldwide cataclysm events. As a result of the various cataclysms, there was vast destructions of land and mass migrations of peoples in search of new homes. Right, this is an actual glyph of a pre-Inca, as we talked about just a few minutes ago. We read about it, of the pre-Inca cataclysm that took place. As you see here, volcanic activity did take place. All right, and as you see, they are rolling across the seas seeking new homes.
So some of them escaped, but not all.
Right, 64 million according to what was said. 64 million. All right. So this is why the Empress claims what she claims. All right. She claims, she said right here, the Louisiana Purchase, in which her people are identified as the ancient ones. The Empress say their land was never included in any land deal, and that it was not part of the Louisiana Purchase. When sold by Spain to France, nor was it bought in 1803 when France rolled it over to the United States of America. She writes, President Thomas Jefferson was well aware of this fraudulent land deal and stated his sentiments at the time. In truth, the land spoken of has never been a part of the United States of America. It has always belonged to the ancient ones. This sounds like the same land President Abraham Lincoln was going to return to the Moors after slavery. He called it the Egypt of the West, or Central America, the land between the Rocky and the Allegheny Mountains from the Gulf of Mexico up into Canada and on both sides of the Mississippi. In 1848, the Washita, also Oshita, and Tunica nations took their land case before the United States Supreme Court and won their case. There's only one so-called Moorish group that can prove winning of land rights, and that is the Washita. Sorry, there's no other group that can actually claim land rights from a actual case won in the United States Supreme Court. All right? And this is under Judge Taney, the same judge who in 1856, 1857 gave his opinion, which was not a legal decision, but it is still used as a legal decision because it was never repealed, nor was it changed.
Disputed in court.
All right?
Right.
Right. In the tragic Dred Scott case, which basically states there is nothing a black man has that a white man is bound to respect, as well as also the fact is that Negroes and those of African descent are not citizens of the United States, nor will they ever be. All right? This can actually work in your benefit by using that, as they say here, legal decision. Right? Which actually it says it was not a legal decision, it was an opinion, but it doesn't matter. Whichever one they want to claim.
Because it's on the record.
It's on the record. It's on the record. It's a case. Ain't been changed. You can still use it.
So what part of that? What part of that we need
We're not U.S. citizens, no, we ever be.
to? No, where the caption, where we would find it if we want to use it in a legal case.
Dred Scott case.
Oh, okay. Well, we already used that.
There is nothing that black man has that a white man is bound to respect. The result of this opinion meant further slavery and death to the Washita Tournica and other nations.
Okay.
They was murdered by the tens of thousands, enslaved, ran off their lands. Their names were changed to hide the truth of their history. The Washita became Washington, and Tournica became Turner. Right? This is how Louisiana Purchase looked. Right? They claimed that in 1803, nearly doubled the nation's size, brought forth by France for $15 million or 2.5 cents an acre on Jefferson initiative. It won Congress approval after debate over whether the Constitution was valid. And the point is this, is that actually, as the Emperor just finished stating, this land case was never. All right.
Didn't she get one of the
yeah, Bush.
Okay.
Daddy Bush, as they call him. But this shows right here that the lands was never purchased. All right. The $15 million, which was supposed to be in gold, almost $4 million sunk beneath the ocean floor. Actually, it was 3.75 million. Of gold sunk beneath the ocean floor off the coast of Florida. It never reached. It's never been found and it's never been reached. So that means that the United States never fully paid. Right? Never fully paid. And as you see here, this is Louisiana Purchase, how it looked even before. So this is around 1750s, as you see here. All right?
That's a huge land, man.
Yeah. So as you notice, this is most of Canada, as you see here. Most of the states that is eastern, part of those eastern states, as you see here, the same states that they claim, because we know that colonies were nothing more than little towns.
And I want to say, DOD, beware of Cory Booker. He's not for you. He's not doing anything that is going to be beneficial to you. I don't know what they got him there for, and I don't know what they got him doing, but the whole thing is, it's coming back to us anyways. It's all coming back to us anyways. So I don't know what he calls himself doing.
Or areas in which that was next to the seaports. Colonies are not states, but they was known as the 13 colonies.
Oh, the Confederate. Okay.
All right? 13 colonies are not states. All right? They're colonies. Colonies are towns. All right? That's what they were. They was towns. And they was near the eastern seaboard, in which that would give them access in order to do business, conduct business in our territory. Mm-hmm. That's what this is about. This is why it's called The flag is what they call the Star Spangled Banner. It's not a flag, it's a banner, just like it states. It's a banner for commerce. It's for commerce.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in that landmark case, the Empress revisited it back June 8th, 1992, in which that she got a letter from the state of Louisiana in which that stated that the landmark case of her ancestors, of our ancestors, for those that are Choctaw and Cherokee, these are our ancestors in which that won this landmark case. All right? Daniel Cox, 10,000 acres of the Maison Rouge grant. Wyckoff and Harrison, 14,000 acres. C.W. Turner, 10,000 acres. C.G. Hershey, 2,000 acres, 800 acres. Henry Turner, 1,928 acres. Sarah Taylor, 519 acres. Koff and Harrison, 16,000 acres. Eliza Whitman, 1,036 acres. Now, who is Eliza Quitman? Eliza Quitman is Eliza Turner, who is the mother of Prophet Noble Ali. All right, but in total, 68,883 acres of land. All right, this is the top portion, mid to top portion of Louisiana, as you see here to the left. Yeah.
Most it's been said that when people have large portions of land, normally that's agricultural land. Is that incorrect?
No, that's correct. That's what we've supposed to been doing.
But they stole it, right? And they put houses or whatever they want to put on it. Unless we can go in correcting it with the correct documents, which the masters are not really privy to, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, Pirate Brain.
So
here into that.
Is one of the documents. This is the part of the landmark case. You read down in the third paragraph. It says here, Sarah Turner, Eliza Turner. Remember, I told you it was Eliza Quitman. That was her married name. Her name, Eliza Turner, is her maiden name. Henry Turner and George W. Turner are the true and lawful owners of and have good title against the United States. This is how the United States lost that decision. So they are on stolen land.
Got that right, Ortho?
All right. From out of Louisiana, in which that be seen from the mid to upper portion, all the way into the whole, all the way into Canada. We're talking about over 30 million acres of land.
So is there a way?
30 million acres of land.
Is there a way people can go in and get them? To set up them a home on 2 acres?
You have to become more astute. More astute at this science.
More astute.
I'm giving you what we can so that we can do this as a nation.
Yes.
Doing this one person is not going to help.
It's not.
We will have to sue them at in a class action suit. And we're talking about all those that are deceiving us and have continued to steal our land.
Listen, I wanted to
because they don't own the land, as we already seen. They may have houses on the land, but that does not mean that they own the land.
Right. Well,
here is a grant. This is the Maison Rouge grant that we're talking about, and this is the actual grant. All right. You can find the grant in the.
Yes, as Wiseman, I was going to send you this video, but I wanted you to catch this, especially that part. I might play it over again for you guys because I did talk over it. But he was saying that we have to do this. And we're not waiting for no Cory Booker, because this has been my goal. Me and S. Wiseman's been trying to figure out how we're gonna do this. We've learned about since the COVID-19, we've learned about the farmers thing, grants. I learned about that, but the thing about it, I learned also is racism in it, that they weren't necessarily giving the money over to the farmers. They weren't giving them the equipment. They weren't, the black ones, to the Nubian farmers. They weren't helping them. So now, yeah, I'll pause every now and then. Okay. But now I'm going to play it over for you, S. Wiseman, because this is very critical. We got to get in touch with this brother because this is very critical with what we need to do as a group, you know. So let me, I think I played it. Did I make it back?
Eliza Turner, who, remember I told you it was Eliza Quitman. That was her married name. Her name, Eliza Turner, is her maiden name. Henry Turner and George W. Turner are the true and lawful owners of and have good title against the United States. Mm-hmm. This is how the United States lost that decision. So they are on stolen land. All right? From out of Louisiana, in which that we've seen from the mid to upper portion, all the way into the whole, all the way into Canada. We're talking about over 30 million acres of land.
So is there a way?
30 million acres of land.
Is there a way people can go in and get them? To set up them a home on 2 acres?
We have to become more astute. More astute at this science. I'm giving you what we can so that we can do this as a nation. Doing this one person is not going to help. We will have to sue them at in a class action suit. And we're talking about all those that are deceiving us and have continued to steal our land. All right, because they don't own the land, as we already seen. They may have houses on the land, but that does not mean that they own the land.
Right. Well,
here is a grant. This is the Maison Rouge grant.
That's why we know that when we have mortgages, even though the Caucasians pay that stuff off, they still pay taxes. So that says right there that no one really owns the land. They know that it belongs to the true people.
We're talking about, and this is the actual grant. All right, you can find the grant in the Emperor's book, also in Let's Set the Record Straight by Dr. York L. This information is in there. All right, so do we know that the Moors was here? Well, according to this book, The Discovery of America and Outgrowth of the Conquest of the Moors by the Spaniards. So this is proving that the Moors were here in America before the Spaniards came, and they wrote about them. As you see here on the cover, the Spaniards come with their little flags, and the indigenous people look at them like, oh my God, who are these cannibals? Right, in 1887, Florentino Amicino discovered apparently man-made heaps, primitive flint tools, carved bones, and a moderate-looking human spinal bone in the Placian strata, 3 to 5 million years old at Monte Hermoso, Argentina. He also made some similar finds in Miocene strata in Argentina, 5 to 25 million years old. So we showed you that the 12 people have been on Earth at least 30 million years. We showed you a human skeleton dating back to 28 million years ago in the bottom of the British Museum. And my wife and I went to the British Museum back in 2012. 2008, right before Obama got elected. A week or so right before Obama got elected, we went to the British Museum.
Okay.
And England.
Oh, okay.
And when we went there, we asked the I guess you say the curator of the museum if we can go into the basement. He said he would take us into the basement, but the head curator was not there that day. He said, but what he could tell us is that what we seen on the floor of the British Museum was only 20%. The other 80% is in the basement.
Why are they hiding it still?
All right. And that 28 million year old skeleton that's in the British Museum was once on display. All right. in the 1900s.
So they wrote
and they put it back into the basement because people can't deal with that. Between 1894 to 1921, mineralogist and archaeologist William Neve discovered ancient cities in Mexico. Now, who was in Mexico? We see the gigantic Cabasa heads, known as the Olmecs, the She people. They was there in Mexico, which is part of North America, I might add. That dated to the beginning of the Pleistocene era, which was 2.5 million years ago. Some cities, these are cities, was built further into the Tertiary era, beneath volcanic ashes. Nevins recovered over 2,600 stone tablets, as well as modern human skulls that show Negroid genetic markers. Nevins Guerrero collection are now in the American Museum of Natural History, which is in New York City, in the Peabody Museum of Harvard University. All right? Now, what? Harvard is where? In Connecticut. If I'm not mistaken, right?
Where's Princeton?
Princeton is I think it's New Jersey. All right. So, this is where this information that he found, which showed Negroid genetic markers. Of course, there was nobody on planet Earth 2.5 million years ago, as we showed you. But us. There was no Asians. There was no Europeans, Albions, white people as we refer to them as.
They showed up later, right?
They didn't get here till 6,600 years ago. In the present form that they're in now. They came from tampering with genetics. All right? Now, this is another one. This is according to the United States Geological Survey. This was an excavation team led by Virginia Stein McIntyre in 1989. I think that's 89. Human habitation was found existing in Mexico for at least 250,000 to 350,000 years. Now, we just finished seeing that Nevins went back to 2.5 million years. So McIntyre, she takes off a zero from 2.5 million years to 3.5 million years based on human artifacts and stone tools tested at the site of Haywood, Arteco States or site near the Sea of Pablo. Shortly after dating of the site was made public, the head of the Mexican Archaeological Department of the Mexican government became very upset at the ancient dates and ordered the Mexican army to close the site and confiscate all artifacts. Stein McIntyre was told to change the date and take a zero off. So they want her to say, no, it's going to be 25,000 to 35,000 years. And even then, that was too much. They wasn't going to just say take off one zero. They were going to say take off two damn zeros. They going to say 2,500 years to 3,500 years. There's no way that they would have let her say 25,000 to 35,000, let alone what she found was 250,000 to 350,000, let alone that the real date in which that William Nevins just told us was 2.5 million years ago. All right, meteorologist William Nevins, he told us it was 2.5 million years ago that he found in that same area. So once again, they keep talking about us no matter what zero they put or what zero they take away. It doesn't matter about the zero, we was there. All right? Richard Nave, University of Manchester, he says that this is an Africoid or Negroid features, as he claims. This is what he says. He said they have Negroid features. All right? This is what he says right here. The first American, the Brazilian find shows that the New World was discovered tens of thousands of years earlier than previously believed. Certainly, well before the time of the American Indian. Prehistoric skulls was found buried in layers of soil in Brazilian caves. They are the oldest skulls of American Lucia belongs to a race found historically along the rim of the Indian Ocean, in the islands of South Asia, in East Africa, and in Australia and Malaysia.
Well, the water in the earth, if you preserve that far under, preserves it, right?
Yes. So as you see here, the islands of South Asia, East Africa, Australia, and Malaysia. It was all these so-called black people from these various areas who mixed back in with each other. To me, this is what Richard Nave says. Now, he says, to me, is a Negroid face. It was all of the features that would be associated with a Negroid face. The proportion of the face doesn't say anything about it being a Mongoloid. And this is a British forensic scientist, Richard Nave, saying this, University of Manchester. All right? Walter Neave.
Watch this, y'all. Watch this.
He says the first reaction was not to believe it. But as the results repeated so many times, the results is exactly the same thing. The skulls are very similar to the Australian Aborigines and Africans, and no similarities at all with the Mongoloids in Asia, nor with the American Indians. So they both crush this Native American shit. In other words, this so-called pale man posing as we call him the $5 man. All right. They crush this whole thing in this argument about these fake Indians now. All right, because they break down the fact that we was already here. Right, Black United States Indians, as they refer to us as, and the Paleo-Americans. That's who we really refer to ourselves as. This is how allegedly looked from the Reconstruction. All right. So I say very similar to Cicely Tyson.
Just like I thought. They try to sell us the slave narrative, make the black woman, they had Cicely Tyson playing in the, help me. Roots. They had her playing in Roots, and they had us thinking, they had a mind game on us that this is the Negroid. We are Negroid, and we should be proud of it. But they had us thinking that we were different from the original natives here, that we came from somewhere else, when all along we were Negroids, and this is our whole planet. You see what I'm saying? This is our land. All land is our land. And then they try to brainwash us with song, this land belongs to you and me. This land is my land. This land is your land. This land is my land. This land is your land. Y'all remember that song? Yeah, programming to get us to think that we were brought over here as slaves. The Mongoloids are the real owners of the land. And the white man came and conquered and took over everything. So now we have to all sing, this land belongs to you and me. No, I don't think so.
I don't even be that far from there. So, had I had that purpose, I could have dropped.
Another book, actually two books. The first, Americans Were Africans, documented evidence by David Imhotep, PhD, and The Paleo-American, a primer of ancient American history by Nasir Ali.
That's how those crazy terms is.
But the whole thing, Ortho, it's no big deal. The whole thing is no argument. Not arguing, pure questions. You so against me. It's cool. Just be vigilant in 2021. That's all I have to say. No, the whole thing, Ortho, is that you're missing the point. She's saying that she stands behind the Nubian man. But the whole thing is you thinking that we're selective We're not paying attention to, we don't have time for selections. Like we don't have time to see what white people is good white people or bad white people. We don't have time for none of that. We have to move forward. Those that are lagging behind, they're just going to drop off. That don't really care about moving forward. You see what I'm saying? From that. So, you know, she's not really getting into that. She's trying to tell you her part, but you're asking the question about whether, you know, that whether we pick and choose. We're not picking and choosing. We're just showing what the problem is and what the whole issue is between us. It's not about picking and choosing, but those, you got to realize, you around low information people, you're going to get low information vibes. You know, you can go to those low information people because sometimes they do have some clues, but at the same time, they're going to keep you, pull you down, unless you're above and you can see it all. You cannot fall in the pot of low information, Ortho. I keep telling you, don't fall into the pot of low information. I don't know what females you out here listening to that are talking about ditching our men, but you can listen to people spit out the bones. That's all I'm saying. I listen to them. I spit out the bones. I know what is good for me and what's not good for me. What I agree with and what I don't agree with. You know. So you don't really have to argue that. Let me finish the video. It's kind of, I want y'all to get to
who lived in America 50,000 years ago is a question by Colonel James Churchward, as we talked about. He says sculptured tablets recently discovered in Mexico presented startling. And remember now, sculptured tablets. There was 2,600 tablets that was also found by William Nevins, which that he said dated back 2.5 million years ago. All right.
Tablets, not with the writing, but just with like her picture.
No, there was writing.
Okay.
Yeah. Hieroglyphics.
So where is that at? Stolen?
No, in these museums that we talked about.
Oh, stolen. In there.
Yeah, in the museum.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep, in the Peabody Library in Harvard, and also at the Natural History in New York. So right here, I have seen a statuette of Negroid in the archaeological collection of Mr. Ernesto Franco in Quito, Ecuador. According to the opinion of local archaeologists, the statuette is at least 20,000 years old. The Argentinians Black race in America was either gradually mixed with the Indian ones or became extinct. All right, and that's not true. They went into slavery, and we're still here. But this is his explanation because he fell under the same premise that the Negroids just came from Africa for.
And they try to say they killed us off. That should have been number one clue, that where did all them people go? They didn't kill us off. They lied.
Years ago. But in a very remote time, Negroes and Negroids were numerous in the New World. And this from man, God, and civilization. All right? What you doing, man? Huh? What you doing? What's up?
Let me do this. So while I mean, welcome, Parrot Brain, welcome.
Hey, how are you doing, Lightbearer?
I'm doing well.
That's good.
Yeah, what I mean by the hot information, which is important for us to always take in, because it's going to give us a better clarity on what situation is taking place now with us as a people.
Well, you have no argument with me over that. I agree. I watch some YouTube channels and I can't continue watching them because of the bickering between the men and women.
Mhm.
About a month ago, I had I won't say it's his wife, but the live-in girlfriend of a good friend of mine invited me on her show because she was talking about men and women's relationship and what men thought about women.
Mhm.
And I said one thing she didn't really agree with, and another guy came on and kind of co-signed it, and she bit our heads off. So I said, well, why did you invite me on the show and ask for my opinion if all you wanted me to do was co-sign your way of thinking?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because I can't, I mean, I have to be honest, and I don't think it was negative, what I was thinking. It was kind of like what you're talking about now, you know.
Mhm.
And she yelled at me, cut me off the show, and and then after I got off the show, she said, "No man's gonna come over here and wife me up." And I was appalled because I'm a friend of your husband.
Mhm.
So you basically ended our friendship and your friendship, my friendship with your husband, because of course he's going to take your side even if he doesn't agree with you, you know. And it just, I stopped going on a lot of shows because of that, because a lot of them are going under false pretenses and using their show is a platform to attack black men under the guise that they love black men so much, you know. um a lot of people call them hotep or whatever. I don't know what they call them, but it just, it bothered me to the point where I just had to get off social media for a while because it harms, it harms the movement.
It does. I agree.
You know, it really harms the movement, and it's real easy for a lot of them to come on to take that point of view and talk about black men that come on YouTube and bash black women, but they're low key doing the same thing. You know,
Mhm.
it's like at some point we have to let these battles go. I had a girl. I'm single now, but I had a girlfriend that I was with, and she left me for not a good reason. You know, I never messed around on her. Brought my paycheck home every week. I was home all the time, and I was upset. But I didn't come on and do any YouTube shows until I got my anger out my system, because I refused to come on and bash black women because of this one woman. And the reason why I'm saying this is because a lot of men that come on here will say, yeah, women this and women that. And it's like, wow, you're basing this off of one woman or maybe two or three, but or the ones that you see on YouTube that are angry. Because see, when you get angry, it's real easy to come on here and pick up a mic and start talking about people. But these are not the everyone. These are just a few angry ones that want to lash out, you know, and they seem like they're the majority because they got a microphone,
Mhm. And
you
that's
know.
why it's important, like I said, to for us to soul search. Remember, I talked about that DOD, our soul searching and working with our within ourselves with that, with the issues that we have to deal with, face them and want to work on them.
Right, right,
I have, like I talked to DOD about my issues, and you don't once you work them out, it takes a while. You got to work them out with yourself. You got to be honest with yourself before you
and you got to be alone too.
to be in the group and try to influence others. Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Right, right.
It's I guess the much issues you got to look at them and say, are they really issues? Let me see what has happened. Why maybe it's a flaw in my personality. okay, I need to work on that. I don't want to come to people, um,
Well,
and
here's the thing. If you have one boyfriend, for example,
Mhm.
or I'll use me, I won't use you. If I have one girlfriend and this girlfriend did me wrong, I could say, well, she was this. I'm not going to say names, but she was this. If I had two, I can say, oh man. But if I had three, my mother used to always say that if three people come to the same conclusion, then you got to look at yourself.
Exactly. Yeah.
You see, so even though it's painful, it hurts. I had to stop and look at myself, and I stayed single for a long time, like 10 years. Because when we make mistakes, what we don't realize is when we get into these bad relationships, when we choose poorly, time will fly by. Like me and her were together for 7 years. Flew by. It's like, man, 7 years. And then I say, well, I for 10 years. And they say, so why are you still single? Why you been single? Well, look, if I was together with someone for 7, 8 years, it might take just that much amount of time for me to fix the problem. So when you choose poorly, you're really kind of condemning yourself to a long time of repairing yourself, because you spend let's say you spend 8 years with the person, you spend the 8 years messing up your life. And so you got to spend another 8 years fixing your life before you have the ability to choose correctly the right mate, if that makes sense.
Exactly.
Because a lot of
Exactly.
people are serial monogamous,
Mhm.
they go from
Like
relationship to relationship.
like Usher was talking about bad habits.
Exactly. Yeah.
Did
Yeah.
you see that video where he was talking about he's in a relationship, but then he ends up seeing someone else that he wants a relationship with and can't stop
Yeah,
it.
I mean, I didn't see that particular video, but the concept is sound.
Yeah,
I mean,
real.
it's just
He's
yeah, it's the way it is, and a lot
song.
of us
He really got his lyrics from somewhere, right? That
yeah,
really been out there analyzing things, really thinking deep and came up probably observing a lot of YouTubers and relationships issues. So
you
yeah,
talking about Usher?
yeah, Usher, yeah,
Yeah, well, I mean, he was in a relationship with his manager for years. He was like twice his age or something. So there was an issue with that.
but he was cheating too. So
I mean, well, yeah. I mean, because if you're with a woman twice your age, you're
mhm,
not supposed to really be with a woman that much older than you. So of course you're going to cheat because you're going to want somebody younger, you
mhm,
know, because it's just not. We're not built that way as human beings. I mean,
mhm,
men don't really come into their earning power for the most part. Usher was earning good money at a young age,
mhm,
but men don't really start to come into their earning power into their mid to late 30s. Okay. Women are in their prime between, you know, 17 and 26. So I mean, I know it sounds weird, but this is how nature set it up. I mean, I didn't make it up. Nature set it up that way because the older a woman gets, the harder it is for her to have a child, the more complicated it gets, you
yeah,
know.
it's complicated.
Yeah, it becomes complicated, whereas with a man, when he's in his 20s, for the most part, he's not capable of really having a mature relationship.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
would think that I would have thought that Usher would have been the way they talked about his upbringing, his mom. He had a great mom, and but I think she did raise him single.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was getting ready to say that I don't know his
He
relationship.
did have his dad. He did have his dad,
He
but
didn't.
I mean, his dad was alive. You know, at
Yeah,
least
I mean, he didn't have a strong father figure because if he
mentally.
did,
Yeah, mentally, his father wasn't probably able to be there. But
yeah, because if he had a strong father figure, he wouldn't have got entangled with that woman. I'm
woman,
not saying she was a bad woman. I mean, she just wasn't for him, you
right?
know. You
Hmm.
know, and he burnt a lot of years of his life with this person. You
Yeah,
know, you don't have to play your life. You don't get a do over. So if you burn, you know, it's like you see a lot of women that have 4 and 5 kids and they're single and then they want to get a man that's this, you know, this high quality man. Now you might get lucky, but chances are you're not going to have that because not too many men that you're looking at what you consider high quality is going to take that on. Now, let's take this back. What do we call it high quality? Because he makes 6 figures and because he's this and that. I mean, there are a lot of high quality uh, middle income men that take care of their families
exactly.
and uh, 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 will take on a woman with children.
And then you can also build. Build,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
So
So if you
and then
want
you
this
become
six figure,
six-figure people.
excuse me.
You can eventually become six-figure people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you, but you see a lot of, and I hate to say it, but you see a lot of our women say, I don't want to build with somebody. He's got to already have it. But they've already kind of complicated their lives. Now, if you're the type of person that you went to college,
Mhm.
you came straight up, you started working, you took care of yourself, you didn't have any kids out of wedlock, you don't have this high body count, then maybe you can say, okay, I've prepared myself for the type of man I'm looking for. Fair enough, you know. And the same thing goes for a man. I don't have a lot of children on the side and all. I prepared myself for this type of woman. Then I think, yeah, that you can ask for that. But if you've been kind of messing your life around and you didn't have, you know, like I did some things in my life, but my parents told me not to do them.
Mhm.
But a lot of people don't have parents like mine to tell them not to do certain things.
I know. I had parents. We had parents in our lives to tell us, but my brother still did it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not listening, that's why I'm saying I have to take responsibility for everything in my life because
Yeah.
my parents told me, they warned me, don't do this, don't do that. Hey, she's no good for you. Hey, this is the right woman for you. You know, it's those type of things. I had that guidance in my life, and I chose to ignore it. You know, um, but some people weren't fortunate like me to have that
Yeah.
and their life is just is what it is. And this is the problem is that
Mhm.
we we don't, you know, even though I kind of messed my life up in certain ways, I don't consider my life a mess now, but I took care of my daughter, you know. My
Mhm.
daughter was born out of wedlock and I got custody of her and I raised her myself, but not alone. I had my family, you know,
Mhm.
but you know, I took responsibility. A lot of
Right.
people don't have that. And I'm
Well,
not saying as many people as they accuse of
mhm.
not having it because look, every black man that's a friend of mine is taking care of his kids. I don't know any black men that aren't taking care of their kids. I'm not saying there aren't, but my question is if you know so many black men that aren't taking care of their kids, who are you hanging around with?
Right. You know, exactly. I agree with that. Um, because if the man is in your town and you know that he's not taking care of his children, then something should have been done community-wise to ensure that this man is doing what he was supposed to be doing for the children that he has in the community.
Or even that,
In
let's say,
my case, my father was not in the community where I was from, so
Mhm.
no one knew him. My mom kept him a secret, and his friend came back and told her while she was pregnant that he died in a car wreck. He was probably from some other state or city. I would never know.
oh wow.
But, you know, I never seen him before. You know what I'm saying? So that's my situation. So it's unique. My situation is unique compared to many people I grew up with whose father was in the same town, but most of their fathers did take, I guess, contribute something, I guess. I don't know. But
Yeah, I think the moment a woman finds out a man has a child, and she should be watching him and see how he maneuvers. And if he's not taking care of his child, then I think this is just my opinion, okay?
mm,
But I think as a woman, if you see this man and he's not consistently taking care of his children, you should just uninvolve yourself with him.
yes,
You know,
exactly.
you should
I
uninvolve
agree.
yourself with him.
I agree 100% because he had no intentions of building the community up, period. He's
Right,
contributed to the problems of the community because he's not even being a father. We need fathers, but
right.
not trying to do that. I don't know
And if he's not taking care of the kids he has, he's
Mm,
not going to take care of your kids, you
right,
know,
right,
when if you
exactly.
have children with him. So I would
Mhm.
say don't just, and the men that I know, if they find out that the men that they know are not taking their kids, they kind of lose them. Like I knew a couple people that were like that, and they're not my friends. I don't hang with them. All my friends are either still married, or if they're not married, they're in their kids' lives. They take care of their kids,
Mhm.
and this is and as men, we just have to not we have to ostracize people like that, and eventually they'll change their behavior, you know.
Yeah.
But um I think this is a problem. It's solvable, but it takes, you know, look, from a man's point of view, when you see a woman and she's very attractive,
Mhm.
it's very easy to fall into that
Illusion.
illusion of her attractiveness and disregard her character.
It's superficial. The outside is always superficial. Like we can see the trees and stuff outside, and they got us like we could want to live outside. But then when
Exactly.
it comes to harsh, cold snow, we gotta hurry up and find shelter. It's
Yeah.
the place because we saw that we fell in love with the warmth and the beauty of that outside scenery that we wanted to stay out there. We wanted to sit under the tree and just sleep. But then all of a sudden, the harsh reality of the winter comes through, and it's cold and it's snow on the ground and it's rainy and it's wet and muddy. Different things like that happen.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the thing.
For the moment.
Yeah, so we have to look past that,
Mm,
and um same thing with our women. They
mhm.
have to do the same thing. They can't just look at it and say, "Oh, well, man, he's very nice looking, and he's, this and that." You have to get past that, because
Yes.
think about it. All the nerds you knew in high school are making a lot of money now, and a
Yeah.
lot of the ones that were the jocks and stuff, are not the same as they
You know
were
what?
when.
I never got to talk to the jocks, although I knew the jocks, the good-looking guys, the older guys in school, but and the football players and the basketball players. But for me, I recognize that in myself. I always would talk to the nerds, and then at
Yeah,
work too. You talk to your nerds. because they tend to can talk to you, and I know a lot of people can attest to this. You end up learning more, you know, because they'll talk you to death, anyways,
Yeah,
about information about whatever.
yeah, yeah.
Just you know, so you know, I never had that problem. I never distinguished between the two. I never. I think a man is a man. Um,
Yeah. I mean,
just different personalities. You know.
we have to get back to that
Mhm.
because if not, we're not going to make it.
Yeah.
Because uh, we're looking like I was listening to a video the other day that someone else was playing on her channel, and it had one of these YouTubers. I'm not going to call out her name because
Mhm.
but she was just bashing men, saying all black men were dusty beta males and blah blah blah, and. So, well, then why aren't you with a white man? It's like if you meet a white man and you like him
Mhm.
and you marry him, go off and live happy. It's okay. Go off and live happy, but you want to stay here and tear down the black man. So you're not really happy with that white guy because you got to stay over in this camp and tear down black men, and vice versa. I see it rarely, not as much with black men that have a white woman. They disappear, you
Mm.
know. But a lot of black women don't do that. And my thought is, well, if why are those people that are talking all this about these men, and it's been like 10 years now, why aren't you married?
Exactly. Yeah, I agree. Why aren't you married? Why they're not married because they got issues. You
Exactly.
got
They
to
got
see the issue and facing it before you come to the public, before you come to the group, before you come among people with your issues. You got to resolve your issues. You
right, and they shouldn't be listening to
you
people
got
like that.
to know more than the people you come into. Because if you still in your issues, dealing with your own issues, then you're not able to help other people overcome. If you
Yeah,
just
you're just going to collect a group of people
I
with
want,
the same issue.
I want people to overcome on their own. I want people to know to see like I see, and not because I don't have all the answers, and but I can see there's a natural way of us thinking and knowing that can get us through.
Yeah, and we have to watch what goes in our ears because, for example, a lot of people. I remember when Destiny's Child came out,
Mhm.
and all these single woman anthems came out, and and everybody, people, some people that were they would pay their rent money to go see Destiny's Child or Beyonce because the tickets were like $350, $400.
Not I. Back then, I wanted to be something. I didn't want to give all my money to somebody. No, no.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
but a lot of people were
No,
not like you.
no,
Yeah. And here's the thing, here's the trick bag. She was talking about single mothers and I can do bad without you, all this kind of stuff.
exactly.
And so a lot of our women were buying into that
Mhm.
while Beyonce is married to a black billionaire.
Exactly. Can you pay my bills? Can you pay my telephone bills?
Yeah, well,
Come straight out like that with the man because not in this society. Because in this society, we got to know where we're at. We're in a society where men just they see women's lib. We put that's been put in front of them. So they, you know, that's been a programming. That's a programming. That's a problem. That's an issue that they put into our community that didn't need to be in our community
we
because
don't even have that issue. Black men, for the most part, don't run black women.
yeah, black men like to take care of their women.
Yeah, we're not that way. You
Yeah,
know?
but they try to come in and make the woman think in that form, and
Right.
that's where you get the independent woman mind frame, because and then you have some fathers pushing their girls to be a little bit independent
Well,
because
I mean, I did push
that's
my
out of
daughter to,
protection.
to, to
Let me speak about to the test. Let me attest to why my father did that, for protection of his daughter. Right? They
right,
agree. It's for protection. He wanted to protect because he knows what's out there,
right,
and he knows that this is not the same old days his parents grew up in, where they court
exactly,
and
exactly.
and he comes and the man comes and takes care of the woman. This is doggy dog world out here where men just want to smash and bang, bang and smash and go, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You
And
know.
that's what I told my daughter. My daughter, you know, she graduated from college, and I told her you have to be to take care of yourself and stuff. But she got married, you know. Um, but you know, I told her she had need to be able to take care of herself, so she's not so that if something happens, she's not left out in the cold, you
Right,
know.
right. Because men, they just did not have that. Not everybody had that home training where you take care of a woman. Some of them are just out here. We don't know what's out here.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
want to bang and go.
yeah,
And and
yeah,
many men raise their daughters to protect them. That you have to, you know, uh, this falsehood that money, the illusion of money. We know that our whole life was an illusion. They stole our land. And then in this video, he's going to tell you how much money we're owed. That's what I wanted to get to. But I'll try to find that. Uh,
Oh, okay. Here's I'm gonna say one more
I'm
thing. I'm
gonna
gonna let you
hear.
go back to your program.
Hmm.
There's one thing I wanted to say is that as Black people, we have to have our own businesses, and we don't have to think in terms of when you hear somebody say our own business, you think in terms of these big multinationals. No, you can have. I have a friend, for example. He's taking care of his whole family, raised his whole family uh, up. His youngest one is 20. His oldest one is 36, and he did it laying tile. Had his own tile laying business. You can have a car detailing business. It doesn't have to be something huge, but you can make enough money to provide for a family and not have to go into work for a white person and have them bossing you around, making you feel like crap. You know?
Exactly.
Now
That's
you might detail a white person's car, but
Mhm.
after an hour, you're done with them. You know.
That's where I'm at. I'm constructing my own, working for myself thing. You know,
Yeah, that's the only way that we're
I
gonna.
like doing. I want to bring to the forefront to be able to benefit from that. What I love to do, not what I have to do under subjugation, building somebody else's business. I've made too many people money, too many
Yeah,
companies money. So
yeah.
it's in the government.
Yeah, and it's just an illusion.
I think we as a people we need we need our land, we need our money back, we need everything old. We got a lot old back to us,
Yeah,
so that we can you know get out of this destruction and start you know rebuilding ourselves back up as a people, because they've done so much to us, and no one's trying to um, repent from it. They're not trying to repent. They're not
oh
trying
yeah,
to
they're not going to,
repair
and
it.
to expect that to happen is just not
It
gonna
doesn't
happen.
happen naturally. I know naturally, because
Yeah,
it's going to be forced, and you know things are backfiring. So
yeah, I know I'm not getting that vaccine. I'm just not doing it, you know.
yeah,
Yeah. But anyway, let me get out of here, and thank you for having me on.
thank you for coming, Mr. Parrot Brain.
Okay, no problem. You take care of yourself.
Yeah, but if y'all want to catch that video, I'm trying to see where it talks
I'll
about.
stay in the chat room and listen to it if you.
Okay,
All
yeah,
right.
Okay, I'm trying to see where it's talking
So
about.
lost to cataclysm.
Let's see.
The four kingdoms of the Saka was Mega,
Okay,
Manga,
I'm gonna leave now.
Okay, you're fine.
Mamsa, and Mandanga. The Manga, the magicians of the Manka of the maker of the Persian inscriptions. The Sakas in the Mahabharata and are called the Castria. The Mandaga and the Manda also refers to the Manda and the Mandis. These Mandians has a four-parent family connection with the ancient Mandi speakers of Africa, especially the Mandinka or the Mandin, who often accommodated the Dravidians out of Middle Africa into Asia. This explains the close relationship between the Edomites and the Mandean language. The Kushite and the first cousins, the Kushite Mandi kingdom line of the Olmec Asians, traveled to the southeast of West Nubia, Sudan, and formed the ancient kingdoms of Maya, Incas, the Arawak, the Caribs, and the Chicoquania in South America. So that we are all the same people. Right? We're all the same people. Right? Stolen legacy puts this out. Talking about the Moors, native of Mauritania, North Africa, invaded Spain and took with them the Egyptian culture which they had preserved. Knowledge in the ancient days was centralized, i.e., it belonged to a common parenting system, i.e., the wisdom, teaching, or mysteries of Egypt. Right, this is by George G. James. Right, so we keep seeing it over and over and over again. All right, even on the stele that we've seen in the British Museum. All right, we've seen the word Moor on the Palomar stele, and the title Moor was that of a high priest of Anu. And who is Anu? Anu are the same people known as these people here. Same exact people. No matter where we go, we keep finding the same information. These are the Anu people.
The Twa.
The so-called Twa people. And these are the so-called Anu people. Right? This is what we have to realize. Right? So these are the first people. The word Anu, allegedly in the Sumerian text, means those who come from heaven to earth. All right? This is what we find. Right? So those same tribes that we get are the same ones that we find later on, the Cherokee, Choctaw, Creek, the Chickasaw, all right, the Seminoles, all right, over and over again. We find these same connections. All right.
I got a question. The Mississippi Mound City, is that blocked off? Can we visit it? I know some people they shut down. You know, I'm trying to figure out what's still accessible and what has been
Should still be open. So, Oklahoma, Mound,
this is out of your book.
Edible Mound,
This is out of your book.
the Edible Mound, Town Creek Mound, the Serpent Mound, the Cahokia Mound.
So all of them they've been ravaged.
No, they're still in good condition. We've been to all of them. We've been to all of these mounds.
Give us another thing what we can do there.
We're going to have to.
I mean, that's educational. I mean, you know.
Well, we might need to do it before October is out there. Okay.
What if they do everything online before they put things back online right after the election?
Right. So here's a statue of, Method, who looks basically identical to Martin Luther King. All right. And that's no coincidence because Martin Luther King told us some very important things. All right. This is a letter from Birmingham jail. He said, we will reach the goal of freedom in Birmingham and all over the nation because the goal of America is freedom. Abuse and scorn though we be, our destiny is tied up with the destiny of America. Before the Pilgrims landed at Plymouth, we were here. Now, this is the same exact phrase that Malcolm said. Malcolm said, we didn't land on Plymouth Rock. My brothers and sisters, Plymouth Rock landed on us. So, because I'm going back and forth over there. Martin Luther King said it. Before the Pilgrims landed at Plymouth, we was here. So this is April the 16th, 1963. All right. So he said the same thing. He also said in I Have a Dream speech that 100 years later, the Negro still is not free, languishing in the corners of American society and finds himself in exile in his own land. In his own land. So Martin Luther King might have been a Mason, but he didn't tell you no lie. All right. Matter of fact, he goes on. This is also him talking to Harry Belafonte. He said, Harry Belafonte asked him, "What's the matter, Martin? You seem very agitated." He said, "Well, I am, because I've come upon a thought that I did not know how to deal with at this moment." And of course, he said, I said, well, what is it? He said, we've fought long for integration. We look like we're going to get it. I think we get the laws, he said, but I'm afraid that I come upon something that I don't know quite what to do with. I'm afraid that we're integrated into a burning house. So he basically broke down that we're integrated into a burning house. He realized that. Mm-hmm. All right?
Just like the summer when you go out, the house is on fire.
Right. Right. The roof.
Yeah,
the roof is on fire. We don't need no water. Let that motherfucker burn. Burn! Right, so that's what's going on. Now we in it. Now we got to let that joker burn, right? Wait, got a bulletproof vest for you, a fireproof clothing for you, I should say. All right, that's your nationality. That's your nationality. All right, because you do not have to be a Negro.
But
all right.
When you find that Negro indicates who you are, right?
Yep. Well, it indicates yeah. Right. All right. So right here in the book, what they never told you in history class, it says the black gods of ancient America. And over here you have R.A. Girasby, and it says ancient Egyptians and Chinese in America. Has pointed out the black began his career in America not as slave but as master. Right? So once again, over and over again, we're seeing more and more proof of this. Matter of fact, he says the first Americans were black. This is according to Latin author C.C. McQuees. All right? Explains the strong possibility that black people were the first people in America out of which later came the red American race. It is likely that we repeat long ago the useful history was that a useful America was also a Negro continent, and that the Ottomans of Mexico, the Charocos of Haiti, and the Mataya of Brazil, and the Albinos of Panama, or the remains of the Aboriginal Negro race out of which which is known as the Red or American race. Right? This is from Estudios Oquelioscos Ethnographical, right? Volume 1, Madrid, 1920. All right. Unexpected Faces in Ancient America by Professor Alexander von Wutenow. He says the presence of Negroes with the trade masters in America before Columbus. All right. So he's saying that there was Negroes traveling back and forth between Africa and America before even Columbus came. All right. So we can keep showing you this over and over again, and they keep telling us the same information, no matter what. keeps going right back to us being Aboriginal Americans, indigenous to this land mass. All right. Olmec heads, 1500 to 1000 BC. Notice the dates of the heads correspond exactly with the dates of the destruction of Atlantis, 1500 BC. I get these books, The African Presence in Ancient America. They came before Columbus by Dr. Ivan von Sertima, and also by Floyd W. Hayes III, The African Presence in America Before Columbus. All right. These are the heads in which they was finding in Mexico. Some they reburied because they was like, oh God.
It was too hard.
Yeah, exactly.
Show other people.
Yeah, they didn't want to show other people this information. So they found 22 of these heads thus far. All right. Now, people say, well, there was nobody in ancient Egypt in which that wore these. Well, yes, there was. The 12 wore these. 12 wore these same type of helmets, and it's right there in Egypt. All right. And we showed you who the 12 were. And so the Olmecs was related to them, except the Olmecs might have been part of the taller branch of them. As we see who's the Lemurians, is how all of this is connected. All right. You see the same type of face in the works in Arabia. All right. It's in Arabia. And so here it is, Kushite Arabian carved monuments directly to the rock in many places throughout Arabia. Here we see a rock carved monument, which looks like an Olmec head. The feature shows beyond a shadow of a doubt that he was one of our ancestors. This was built by the ancient Kushites of Arabia, who built many monolithic structures throughout Arabia. It is beginning to become clear that Kush that begat Nimrod was the Kush located in Arabia.
Apparently, I don't have that story of Nimrod. According to the Bible.
It's allegorical in a sense. But Nimrod is the grandson of, is the son of Cush, the grandson of Ham. That's what the Bible is talking about. Ham is Cam, which is Egypt. Cush is Ethiopia.
Because he was trying to get to God.
Right.
Is that correct or incorrect?
Allegedly.
Incorrect.
No, allegedly it's correct. That's what they say, that he built on the Tower of Babel. The Tower of Babel came by way from the Sumerians. Right. This head dates to approximately 1500 BC, 1000 BC also. The foundation of archaeology and related science, as we know it presently, were laid out in the middle 1800s. This was during the time when Europeans were perfecting their worldwide white supremacy paradigm. The scholars in various fields during this time took the position, all right, that to hide these particular faces and heads, right? The Olmec statues from Tres Zapotes, Mexico. The long shaft behind the head was most likely inserted into a hole in the wall of a temple in a ceremonial basketball court. All right. This is a figure known as the tenon. These may have been used as the ball court markers, which was inserted in the wall, so the bust shown here protruded from the wall. It is carved from the pitted volcanic stone. It comes from Tres Zapote, Veracruz. It is dated to 1600 BC. It looks very similar to the tenon picked in volume issue 1, which
they
is
very strong people to be able to lift that.
Yeah. In my book, The Pre-Colonization of the Americas by the African Moors, I break down, it is an archaeological find, a fact that the ancient Kushites were a colony of Ethiopia and Egyptians that colonized portions of West Africa, Samaria, and China. All right? A professor by the name of George Rawlinson stated that linguistic language discovery tends to show of a Kushite dynasty that did extend itself from Abyssinia to India. The whole peninsula of India was inhabited by Africans. Africans through meaning was separated into Greek, where one nation in the world was their land. All right. All right. So we're seeing this over and over again. All right. Dr. Clive Winters, he says in 1300, many Malians sailed to the Americas. Although most Malians sailed to Brazil, Mexico, and built the mounds along the Mississippi, some Malians settled in Florida. All right. This is Abu Bakr II, an image of him, a likeness of him, in which that allegedly in 1311 through 1313, he sailed with 2,200 ships, in which they came here to the Americas. All right, so just imagine, let's say there was 50 people on each ship of 2,200 ships. We're talking about at least 100,000 people. All right, that's what we're talking about. Almost 100,000 people more. All right.
You don't see them like that anymore.
No. If there was 100 people on each ship, then we're talking about 220,000 people. All right. These are cities that he brought over here, and this is the area that they came from, what's known as the Ghana, Mali, Songhai Empire. All right, to the Ashati, the Borno, the Kani, all of these areas. All right, here it is right here for a better look. As you see, Timbuktu is in the center, and from out of Timbuktu, as you see, Mauritania, as you see there, Timbuktu, which is Mali. You see parts of Benin, part of Burkina Faso, part of Nigeria, Niger, all right, Cote, Guinea, Senegal, etc. All right, all of this, that was the empire. This was the empires of the Moors. They stretched through that whole area. The Africans, Arab, Persian, Berbers. This is the Moors. All right, in the book, Christopher Columbus and the African Holocaust, Slavery and the Rise of European Capitalism, it was renamed the African Columbus, Christopher Columbus and the Myth of the New World. This is what Dr. John Henry Clark states. It must also be added that Americo Vespucci, on his voyage to Americas, witnessed the Mandingos of Mali, who are known as the Olmecs, and Songhai Empire, later identified as the Moroccan Empire, out of which out in the Atlantic returning to Africa. So here it is, one of our greatest said African minds and historians, John Henry Clark, stated that the Mandingos of Mali, all right, the Olmecs, and the Songhai Empire was later identified as the Moroccan Empire. Also note that they were returning to Africa. Thus, we can conclude from America. All right? So this is how all of this is connected. All right? Are there any questions concerning anything that we're going over tonight?
What we could do, how many places we go. Once to Harlem, I would be very interested. And I think it'd be very educational for the children, worthy for myself, because sometimes we go places and they speak to us, like make your hair on your arm, your skin, you know what I'm saying? Anyway.
You're right. We use books and mountains all the time. You just got to get back into it. We got to. We were trying to get a bus out in. We was calling different bus tour buses so that we can start, bringing people, on these trips. The same way that, the same way in which that, with his name goes to Egypt.
Impedition?
No, not just Impedition, but also what's his name?
Dr. Ben used to go.
Yeah, Dr. Ben, but his other student. Yeah, Dr. Ben, I saw crazy. Like the way that they go to Egypt. They go to Egypt every year, Ethiopia every year.
Did you go to it?
No, he's supposed to have been going on this tour with him.
Okay. Well, anyway, I think saw him. He does some stuff too, saying stuff come from us. If I don't know that brother very well, so I just see him a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Right, I got you.
So I just knew. I knew it's she through Dr. Bean because I've seen him like in the apprentice and you know, and through what's that brother in Harlem that put everybody on TV?
That's right.
No, what's the other guy?
I know what you're talking about.
He does the
I'm trying
debate.
to figure out where.
Oh, it's my son, never.
Hold on, let me do this. I'm gonna try to figure out where he was talking about the money.
Washita and Ternica nation Moors, the fathers of civilization.
And was I correct in my thinking? Is that kind of the same thing that?
Just connect.
I mean, that what he said on the wife's leg. That would happen. That would happen too. What in the world? She said he was, you know, kind of. They had hunger.
Yeah. All right. So it says here, Peru, Mexico, Isabella, now Cuba, United States of America, Canada, and Alaska. Diplomat in 1972, Farida Ishkovich. They all are saying that we, Bushmen, who is known as the Sand People, in the Hidden Life in Freemasonry, C.W. Ledbetter, he states that the Pygmies race is a relic of the old Lemur, Cuba, United States of America, Canada, and Alaska, or European too. The United Nations diplomat, Farida.
Y'all probably already had that part. But anyways, I put the link to the video down there. Hey, Riz, welcome. Welcome, Shakita. I put the link to this video because that we can at least come together on that and, you know, put forth, like he said, the petition that we get our lands that we need returned. So, you know, that's what we don't know. We don't know that right now that the money is not backed by anything. It's not backed by anything at all over here. But the land is what's valuable. And right now, no one really owns anything. They're saying under the guise of the money that it's owned, but when we really look at it, you're still paying the government taxes on land. And if you're paying government taxes on land, that's an illusion that you're owning that land. So the real people that own this land still have a say, evidently, because nothing is put in stone on these properties because we're still paying the government, right? When we look at it in that aspect. So, welcome, Brother Bakari. Well, family, I'm about ready to close up. I appreciate everyone for coming. Let me do the shout outs real quick. Let me start from the beginning. Thank you, Artho, for coming and spending your time with us here. S. Wiseman, thank you, sister. DOD, thank you. And Mr. Parrot Brain for coming on my panel. Lady Pat, thank you so much for coming and visit. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Omega Courtney, I appreciate all your comments. Thank you for coming. And let me see. Brother Riz, thank you for being here and visiting. Oh, Camp Powhatan, thank you, brother, coming along. And Shakita, and Brother Bakari, once again, thank you. We have to know that our truth is here, and the lie cannot no longer live here. The lies that have been put over in our minds, and we know that our minds are powerful. We have to really use it for our own benefit and stop thinking that we have to use it for others. We just have to use it for our own people's benefits and ourselves. Um, we've been using it for others, uh, and it's been abused and controlled, and now we have to control our own mind. Take back who we are, connect with our higher self, and listen for the moments. Listen to where we need to go, what moves we need to make. And it's so much distracting noise outside of us that it kind of it's what takes away from our energy and our powers and our magic from happening. And that starts within our minds. So we need to stop allowing the noise to be a distraction and get above that. We really do need to get above it because it's causing so much um, it's causing a delusion. We don't know what's real and what's not. But we do know one thing. We know that we have something that is very against us. And knowing that something is against us should help us to weave out the noise between what is against us and what is for us. We should be able to differentiate from that. So, with that said, true love, real peace, and the higher self within, and everyone have a beautiful day and stay safe. Peace and love. Till next time.